You just told everyone that you're moving to Southern Maryland, and the question that everyone has on their mind when you tell them that is, where's Southern Maryland? Let me explain Southern Maryland to you in this video. What's up, everybody? I'm Rob Schou, and I'm with EXP Realty in Southern Maryland. If this is your first time on the channel, make sure you click the subscribe button, click the little bell so you're notified every single time we put out new content about moving to Southern Maryland, because it will help you when you move down here. If you have any questions or need any help or just want to go look at some houses, go ahead and use that contact information below. Call me, text me, and I'd be happy to help you make your move a whole lot easier. All right, so like I said, inevitably when you tell your friends and family that you're moving to Southern Maryland, a lot of them have no clue what Southern Maryland is. And to be honest, a lot of people that I talk to, even when I talk to them, when they find out they're moving here for a career opportunity or working on base or something like that, they really don't know much about it. And that's probably why you're here searching this video anyways. So what I want to do today is give you some pros and cons of Southern Maryland and just a general overview of it as well. Okay, so Southern Maryland is the southern part of Maryland on the western shore. It's made up of 3 different counties: Charles County, Calvert County, and St. Mary's County. And it's a pretty large area of Maryland. The hallmark of Southern Maryland is that it's rural. There's a lot of farming, there's a lot of space to sprawl out, and home prices are a little bit less expensive than the capital region. But for the most part, there's not many, like city centers. Waldorf, I think, would be the closest thing to a city that Southern Maryland has, and that's in Charles County. But for the most part, it's either a semi-rural or rural tri-county area. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the pros and cons of Southern Maryland. I'm going to start with the cons first for you. And I think the biggest con of living in Southern Maryland is the commutes. So unless you're living in Waldorf or La Plata maybe, and working in Waldorf or La Plata in Charles County, or if you're living in Leonardtown or California and working at Patuxent River, or maybe if you're in Dunkirk and working in Dunkirk, you don't have much of a commute with those, but everywhere else, everything else is about 20 to 30 minutes away. Now, the really nice thing about that, though, is it's not a trafficy 20 to 30 minutes away. It's normally 10 to 15 miles away. Now, that means a car is a necessity here. So if you don't have a car or you don't really drive that much, it's something you're really going to want to get used to, because you're going to need it down here. There's not many walkable areas in Southern Maryland. Now, with that travel with everything kind of being spread out, that leads to the next con, and that means that there's not a lot of places to gather in Southern Maryland. There are restaurants and there are places like that, but there's not as many, rec centers and things like that for kids to gather. But there are more and more coming, especially in St. Mary's County and Waldorf area and Charles County, and also in that northern Calvert County. All right, so the pros of Southern Maryland, and I think there are actually a lot of them, and these are, based on my opinions and also other people that have moved down here. So one of the biggest pros of Southern Maryland is that it is rural. You move to Southern Maryland because you want more space, and it is 100% more rural than other areas on the western shore, kind of in that capital region. Now, if you go out to western Maryland, Garrett County and those areas, of course, you're going to find more rural areas like that. But for being close to DC, and not being out in the mountains, it's pretty rural compared to other areas in like Anne Arundel County and PG County and Montgomery County and those areas surrounding DC, which we call the capital region. Now, with it being removed from that capital region where the highest home prices in Maryland are, our home prices are going to be on average lower than that capital region area. That being said, those home prices are still higher than the national average. So it's not like you're going to get this like crazy steal just by moving into Southern Maryland, but they're considerably lower than, Annapolis or even that Baltimore area or Montgomery County or all those areas, Bethesda and Chevy Chase. They're going to be lower, but with that comes that trade-off of they are farther away from DC and other areas that you may work. One of the biggest pros I think Southern Maryland has compared to other areas, especially St. Mary's County, is there is water access everywhere. We have the Patuxent River, the Potomac River, and the Chesapeake Bay, and then there's all types of tributaries off of those 3 areas. So if you're someone who likes to enjoy water sports, get out on the boat, go fishing, go crabbing, there's so much opportunity for you to be able to get out there and do that. But the really great thing too is there's a lot of different neighborhoods that have community water access. But since homes are more affordable, waterfront homes are more affordable too. There's a huge difference between a waterfront home in Annapolis's price and a waterfront home down in, say, Ridge, Maryland, or, in anywhere in St. Mary's County, just because it's further away from those work areas and you're probably going to have to commute more to get to where you're going, but you're getting beautiful waterfront at a discounted price. So if you're someone that doesn't mind driving, or if you're someone that's working from home and teleworking, it could be the perfect opportunity for you to buy that waterfront home you've always wanted and still be able to afford it. Now, another great pro of living in Southern Maryland, I think one of my favorite things about living here is the slower pace of life. You really have to think twice about, going out and just mindlessly shopping and going places like that, because everything is further away from you. So you end up spending more time around your house. You end up spending more time with family and friends, in your neighborhood and stuff like that. And I think that lends itself to getting really connected with the people around you. And I think it can be a great experience, especially if you're used to living in a place where kind of nobody knows your name. When you move to Southern Maryland, it's much more like a small town, a small community where really everyone knows your name. All right, so hopefully this helps answer that question. When friends ask you, you're moving where? Hopefully you can kind of explain a little bit more about what Southern Maryland is. Go ahead, drop some comments about questions that you have as well about Southern Maryland, and I'll answer them in future videos because I love to help people out that are moving here. And if you have any other questions or need any help, make sure you use that contact information below. Call me, text me, and I'd be happy to help you. And also click the subscribe button, click the bell so you're notified every time I put out new content about living in Southern Maryland.